This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, it is, like it is every week. One of these weeks, I'll actually upload all the recorded sessions, but we're not there yet. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for, the 16th, post-tax day 2019. How did that feel yesterday? I got to tell you, didn't feel good for me. Ooh, yeah, big thumbs down on the tax day, but it's all right. I'm looking forward to doing a little debrief on last week's summit in Boulder, Colorado, and open up the mic a little bit. But before we do that, you know what we got to do. We got to do the do. Here we go. Rebel commitments. In order to maintain clarity of purpose, we ask that every member of the Rebel community make the following commitments. Number one, I will protect the value of my services. I will never provide free services, as this would only serve to erode the value of similar services industry-wide. There's too many services in that statement. Let's reword that one. Number two, I will practice incredible transparency. I will explain our processes and details to my client. I will never hide details or manipulate reports. I will never communicate with a third party without also communicating with my client. Number three, I do not believe in competition. Restoration professionals in my market are part of my community. I will be an active member of that community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change we strive for. We felt a little bit of that unity over the week last week. It was awesome. I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that's not compatible with my values and stated mission. Good business does not require us to give up money, sleep, or our humanity. I'm gonna move the mic a little closer today. I feel a little mellow. I'm gonna get a little dramatic. How's that sound? Loud and clear? Okay, so let's give a little rundown. Let's get a little debrief. Mr. Groves, we had an excellent time smoking cigars, almost getting kicked out. And then there was that little bit there where some gal was actually sharing a used cigar. That was awkward.
That was quite awkward. Some drunk girl liking used cigars, yes.
You got a cigarette? No, I got this cigar. It's a little wet. I'll take it. Yeah, that was, things that make you go, So, James, what are your takeaways from Summit 2.019 in Boulder, Colorado?
It was our first restoration conference that we went to. It's actually not seeing a lot of the faces that I see on here and then in the group. Got to meet them. Really engaged. I got as much out of the off time as I did the actual on time.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, believe it or not, I got more out of the second day than the first. Although the first was amazing, but Dan York woke us all up with his how to hire and fire and all the good stuff and his realism.
At the end of the day, his answer to anything was fire him. Fire him yesterday.
But I just thought that was great. And actually, when Jordan came around the second day, she did a lot of table hopping. She landed at my table for about a half an hour, and that was a great experience. So I enjoyed the camaraderie, and I definitely enjoyed the location. It was beautiful.
Wasn't it?
I'm actually planning on bringing my wife next year so she can enjoy Carolina as well. We're in our meetings during the day. So, yeah, very pleased.
Boulderado, man, it was a beautiful hotel. Did everyone get to see the photos? We'll post a link to the Google Drive, the shared Google Drive photos for that. There were some good ones and some not so good ones, but that's why you take 1,000. Travis Chansey, what do you got for us? You got some takeaways for us from last week?
I just said, how's everybody doing today? I just happy to see everybody on live here. So, well, my takeaways, I thought it was pretty special just to be able to, capture some of the moments on video too.
Yep.
I'm uploading a lot of stuff right now so we can have, share it with the group. So for some reason my drive is a little slow, but I'll get it, speed up a little bit here. I'm not putting a lot of videos together. I still have so much footage, from the summit. So I'll get some more stuff together so we can get some more stuff out there. But I was pretty happy with just how, everybody was just so cordial and open. to talk. I had a lot of guys come at me and talk to me, and it was just incredible to talk to the little guys out there that's just getting started. That's what I think that's what the movement is all about to me, is being able to help another, because that's what helped. I needed that help when I first got started, and somebody helped me. So, and today is my brother's death date. He died 7 years ago. So he committed suicide 7 years ago, and that's the reason why I set up my own business, because of his suicide. So I think it was, he gave it away to me. So I just feel like, giving it away as much as I can to everybody I've met out there, and just talking to everybody. I have so much information. I just want to be able to just help others, and that's kind of the overriding goal, is unifying the movement by helping others.
Right. Exactly
so,
right.
I mean, if you're doing that, that's not only a restoration thing, it's a human thing.
It is a human thing.
So I'm using it kind of as a human thing first, and then I make the business kind of follows that. You don't have to force it; you just kind of do it.
Sure do.
So I really appreciate the energy, and I try to bring as much as I can to the table with just helping others and stuff. And if anybody else needs to reach out to me, I've gotten a lot of Facebook friends that are kind of reaching out to me now after the conference, and I'm setting up meetings after the the meeting basically. Having a guy, meet with me. He's coming into my office tomorrow morning to watch my culture, basically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he was interested in the culture part of the deal. So I told him he could just come in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when I meet up with all the technicians, and he can just watch me. So I have no problem doing that. So, and that's what he's doing. So he's coming in, and I want to be able, the culture does matter to me. And I really believe, I'm a technician at heart. I've always been a technician, done all the work. I could easily just go do it right now, and I would have a great time doing it, because I really have, that's where the rubber hits the road, and sure I really appreciate the technicians, and I give them as much love as I can. Because I know how hard it is to be out there doing that type of work 24/7.
Was Trevor ever going to write that?
I love you guys.
Was Trevor ever going to write that book about the $100,000 a year water damage technician?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're paid. I almost paying.
Right.
I pay my guys very well.
They're earning it.
Yeah, they're earning it, but I mean they're family too.
We're going to collaborate on that.
I bring them up.
Let's make sure that gets done.
So I think I'm setting up Abbott's University. That's my next step. I want everybody to be able to, if they don't want to go to college, you come see me and we'll make it happen. So a lot of people want to go spend that money and have these big loans and everything else with college, and it's a great thing. I have a degree myself, but in reality, some people want to go to work, and understand business. And I don't mind people coming in and at 18 years old and knocking on my door.
Absolutely, let them in. Let him work.
Let him in. Yes.
Good. All right. Bless, brother.
So, thanks, man.
Yep. Okay.
You're a good dude, Travis.
He is a good dude. He's a good dude. David, you got something to add? Your takeaways from the summit?
I love the energy. I liked. It was great. There was a lot of, I was saying something about, people saying the same thing about accounting and all that stuff and the culture over and over again, but you always learn new things, even, no matter how many. I'm trying to find a quiet place in my house. No matter how many times, you still always find something to learn. And I was thinking of something specific. Oh, the stuff about OSHA and workers' comp. I have a ton of experience. I have a ton of experience with that stuff. If anyone wants to reach out to me on either page, or on the, on the AIR site, or on Facebook, I had a ton to say, but I had to leave. I had to catch my flight. But
did Jennifer Sterling put the fear of God in the room, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but wait. She was cool, and she was super smart too. But I think there's a lot of that. I'm not saying that anything she said wasn't correct, but there is this game. If you buy, especially at the size that some of you guys are, if you buy every single piece of insurance that you can buy, you're not going to have a lot of money left. I mean,
No, you're not.
So you really do. And you know, it's funny because I remember all that, like the years that you know, just not having something that you really need. And, you know, as you get bigger, you kind of have to get it all. But anyway, I have a ton of experience, especially when an accident happens. So if anybody wants to talk to me, you know, call me anytime.
All right, folks, you heard it here. David is volunteering. Jennifer Sterling was workers' comp and pollution insurance. Speaking of pollution, David Hodge killed it. That guy brought so much knowledge. Who can speak on that?
Tons. That's what I'm talking about. Those OSHA, you know, being OSHA compliant, doing that hazard assessment, you know, that there are items in there. There are items in there, and then if you can upload that document with it, because technically you're all supposed to do it. You're all supposed to go out and make sure that you, in writing, identify all the possible hazards that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use the right items that go right along with them. Gloves, PPE, all of it.
All of it. Shane, what is that small mammal? What are you have a new pet? What is that thing? Hey man, that's awesome. It's adorable. Wait a minute. Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
there you are.
Mammal. So it's this little guy right here.
Look at that. Hey, dude.
Pull that bottle out of his mouth, and he won't be quite so nice.
No.
But yeah, so he's this is feeding time. So I figured I'd come in here and I'd probably keep it on mute so when he growls, yells, and screams, it doesn't distract everybody.
Well, now we have an opportunity to get a head start on all those curse words. All right.
Yeah, and it's a good time for you guys to see me, and I'm quiet, so like you should all relish that moment.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Oh man. Okay. What else? Anyone else have a burning desire to talk about what happened at the summit? Lolke, you got any takeaways?
Well, I was quite impressed with David and knowledge and being able to quote exact paragraphs and phrases out of the S500.
Right.
I haven't seen that very much. I was very happy with the diversity of topics within the different sessions. There was not a lot of repeat, and it was totally different topics, so that was great.
Very little overlap, yeah. So next year we're going to take a different tack. We're going to go more soft skills and probably mix in a lot more marketing and promotion stuff. But talk about goals and vision, since it is 2020. We're going to throw some vision in there. Clark came up with that one. I can't take credit. Lindsay Milan, where have I been all your life? I haven't seen you for a while. I haven't talked. What's up? What's new?
Oh, I've been all over the place. I was in Minneapolis, and then I was actually in Denver right before the convention.
So we missed you. So we didn't plan that correctly.
No. And now I had a child's birthday I couldn't miss.
I get that. You know, he's going to have another one next year, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. There's only a handful more I get to be there for, and he is my baby.
All right. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm in Orlando this week getting my carpet repair and reinstallation and color, and next week my ASD.
Oh. And then you're going to be smart, like the rest of us, right?
I think so.
Because those letters make us smarter. Oh man,
Well, they do help when you want to tell somebody how to do their job.
It's true. That's true. That's fair. What was that group that came up that during the summit? Who brought that up? I forgot who brought it up. The JIRC or something like that. It was a trade association that someone suggested we become a part of. Anybody got any clue? Ring any bells?
That was like PIRC or something like that.
No, not the P. It was the other one.
Oh.
It was a different one.
Oh.
Not the PIRC and not the APA, which is a great Association, by the way.
SCRT.
Yes, Chris, what was that for the benefit of those who could not attend?
Yeah, that is the Society of Restoration and Cleaning Technicians. They are actually a shareholder of the IICRC, which is a benefit. Getting on with them gets you possibilities of getting on some of these committees with the IICRC as well.
Okay.
So gives us more of a voice and more of a stance. So it's a good thing. We've got a board meeting coming up at the Experience. So I'll be sitting in on one of those and looking to team up with the Rebels and get some more participation over there. We got a great group of people over there, but I will say it is kind of an older generation, and we need some new, young life in there to help us along with some new ideas and keeping up with just the way our industry is moving.
A couple different books I read along those lines that I think explain a lot of what's happening with society and then specifically about associations. Well, the first one's called Bowling Alone, and it chronicles the steady decline of fraternal and sororital, did I say that right? Whatever, organizations like the Moose Lodge and the Shriners, and even associations like adjusters associations and things like that. And since post-World War II, post-World War II, there's a big jump in membership. And then heading into the 60s, it's just steady decline. So what we're seeing is a lot of these organizations, and this one is no different, they're just suffering from an extreme lack of interest in infusion of new blood. The other book would be The Fourth Turning. Travis, have you read that book? It's about 1.5 feet thick, but it's
nice.
Really good. It talks about the seculum, which is the length of time of a human life, roughly. And
well, it never ends.
No, there's that. So it was the book. It was a book that Tony Robbins gave to one of the presidents as he was coming into office. Anyway, we are coming into a different time. Humans. This millennia is coming to an end, and it's going to be weird. But
it's going to get weirder before it gets better.
But we're going to need each other, and we're going to need these organizations and these fraternities. I know that's whatever.
Yeah.
More and more, because we're going to need to commune together much tighter, much more frequently. And I think that's why we're seeing an uptick in our membership and other ones so far. So I'm all for it. Let's join. Let's get some members in there. Let's see what it's about. And a rising tide floats all boats. It's not going to take energy away from us to spend time in another organization. What's your take, Trev?
Yeah, the more you organize, the more chaos. So
true.
I mean, if you read the Tao Te Ching, it's a Chinese philosophy. It says, the more you try to construct things, the more you try to grab things and control it. The more you let go, I bet you'll have a lot more members. Just keep letting go. The members just keep flying in.
Keep letting go.
Let go. So that's the secret. Don't go get it. A lot of people are trying to do the old earth stuff in restoration too.
No, don't go get it. And by all means, don't hold it. Don't hide it. Don't try to protect it. It's all open. Give it out. Give it out.
It's 2,500 years old. So for God's sake, it's been there before Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking notes. It's only 81 verses. And I listen to it all the time, and I literally changed my entire life overnight. It's just great. So I try to run my personal life that way, my business life that way, and all I've seen is skyrocketed numbers. So, and I proofs in the pudding, and it's all about one thing. It's the numbers. I'm always having a dashboard. I always know what's going on every second. It's good because I can read and do different moves in my company based off my numbers.
All numbers,
so if you know your numbers, you know your company. So, That's kind of nice too. So it's been really interesting on the marketing side and what I'm doing on that end, and trying to promote the business, and then being able to get the numbers and seeing what actually people are looking for online. I'm kind of a Google freak and a relationship freak.
Phil Rosebrook and Chuck Violand brought the numbers.
Yes, and they're beautiful.
Good stuff.
It was awesome.
And
I literally used every one of them. Yeah, it was awesome. So I really like the number part of it. I mean, once you start getting the balance, sheets out and the P&Ls, and you start putting goals and numbers on people's heads, people start moving, and stuff start happening. So
if you want to change something, measure it.
Yeah, I'm stopping by Chick-fil-A because those little chickens made me hungry. So
good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. So say hi to everybody. Everybody's on the cover.
Will do. Okay. I also read an article today that said the natural order of nature. I said that wrong too. But there is no order. There's no strict order in nature. Nature always trends toward entropy, and entropy is chaos. So the best we can hope for is controlled chaos, and that's where these relationships come in handy, where in the controlled chaos you can't plan for everything, so you have each other to kind of pick up the pieces. All right, did I mess that one up enough? Let's see here. Who else is here? Is anyone here for the first time? I totally forgot that segment. Dwayne Utley, have you been here before? No? Well, maybe unmute him. See. Oh, I can't unmute him. All right. Dwayne, welcome. If you haven't been here. If you have, then I'm sorry. I forgot you. I'm terrible with names. I guess that's it. Anyone, let's help me out here. I didn't come with an agenda. I really just wanted to see all smiling faces. So anyone else got anything else?
Okay, so I messaged Clark last night about something, and he suggested that maybe I bring it up during the roundtable tonight.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
And I actually called Bob Timmel last night and was on the phone with him for about 45 minutes plus.
This sounds serious. Serious.
So
all right,
I have this. Okay, so I have this job. It's a mold remediation job. My issue with this job is the adjuster is doing the testing and writing the protocol.
Wait, the adjuster is doing the mold testing?
Yes. Is that crazy?
Is he a public adjuster?
No, he's an independent adjuster for Lowe's, because the contractor went to this person's house, did some work, it was screwed up, they work for Lowe's, whatever. So Lowe's hires this adjuster, and he is doing the testing and writing the protocol.
That is so strange.
Oh my God.
No clue. Okay.
Wow.
Right. It's crazy to me.
Okay. So, but okay, continue. We interrupted you.
So I received the protocol today, and his protocol is kind of short and sweet, and then an estimate. He wrote an estimate also. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that's a conflict of interest, him being the adjuster, doing the testing, and writing the protocol.
Not only is it a conflict of interest, but you can't run your business. You can't do work based on his protocol unless he's a certified industrial hygienist.
He is licensed. He's a licensed mold assessor for New York State.
Oh dear God, this guy sounds like a circus. All right, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna let somebody else chime in here first.
I would not work on anybody's protocol. You're not them. You do your protocol. I don't care what their protocol is. You do his protocol, and something goes wrong, so you'll get sued, not him.
Wait, what state are you in?
I'm in New York, and we do write our own estimate, usually off of the protocol that the IH does for us. But my problem is he wrote an estimate and did the testing and wrote the protocol. I feel like, and he's the adjuster, so.
I thought New York had super, super strict rules about who can write a scope of work. First of all, you can do any scope of work you want, right? Because you can't do it in New Jersey. It's a little different, but soon it'll be that way. But I thought in New York, it's kind of like asbestos. You can't write your own protocol and then do the work.
Right, and we
Yeah, but
don't.
he's not
we just
doing the work.
Right.
we write the estimate, but you're not supposed to write an estimate either. In my understanding, I have to check the log on, but in my understanding, you're not supposed to write an estimate and do the assessment. They're like two completely different things.
Yeah, there's a guy. I'll find his name. He teaches in. He's from New York, and he does. What's his name? I'll post it later. But
Well, no,
this
the
is
law does not remove you from liability.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I don't care what the law says about doing it. You don't need to do someone else's protocol unless you're prepared to be sued if the protocol sucks. If I write a protocol that says throw a baby out the window, you gonna throw the baby out the window?
Right, exactly.
Not that one.
Right.
Yeah, but hang on.
Your baby's pretty cute.
Yeah. Thank you.
She can't. Where's her liability if she follows a protocol from a licensed
Because
guy?
she's doing it.
Yeah, but she's not allowed in the state to make her own protocol. Like I had this problem with
Correct.
lead paint.
Right.
I had
Well,
this
not
problem with
being
lead
allowed
paint.
to do your own, not being allowed to write your own protocol, and then still doing something that harms somebody. Like not writing the protocol does not.
Oh wait, hold on. Do you like? Can you note obvious things that are missing from the scope of work from the protocol?
I say that we have to do that because if we don't do it correctly the way that we know we're supposed to do it, we will be held liable for that. And here's the other thing that I read today in his protocol is that he needs to know when we're finished because he will also be doing the clearance testing.
So let me interject.
Now, if you do the protocol, though, you just need to get a waiver saying, I'm only doing your protocol. And you
No, we're missing it. So let me tell you a story about what happened last year. I almost exposed property owner, tenants, and a contractor's employees to a full-blown asbestos job. Full-blown, friable, in the air asbestos. The reason I almost did that is because I had an insurance company, to remain nameless, an independent adjuster, and a contractor on their side all tell me, oh, we tested for asbestos. We tested. It came up negative. Here's our results. Here's our testing. Well, they took 4 freaking samples in a 10-unit apartment complex that's 22 years old. And I said, no, that's not good enough. I cannot send my people into harm's way or advocate that happen until I am confident that this testing has been done properly. So I don't think liability-wise you can do the same thing. You don't know for sure what you are and are not exposing your people to because you didn't have control over how the test was taken. That's my opinion.
How did you get this client?
I'm sorry?
How did you get this client? Who's the customer?
I actually am not sure because I'm not the one who took the call. I was actually out working on a job when we took this claim. So I was kind of like in the dark-ish
This is truly about the customer, not the adjuster.
And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like I know what we have to do. My other guy knows what we have to do. We know how to write the estimate appropriately, and we know
just do what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a liability claim too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And that's my thing. Like I feel like we should just have our IH go out there and do the testing.
It's liability. They
pre and post testing.
Yeah, they're on the hook for it. So
walk away from the job is always a good idea too.
Well, that's always an option, right? What's the profitability? What do you think you're going to make at the end of the day on this job, Lori? What's your company going to take profit? Bottom line, not top line, not revenue. Bottom line, what do you think you're going to take away from this project if you do it?
I don't know because I haven't seen it. I haven't even looked at his estimate completely. I was just very frustrated this afternoon when I got it.
You got to make that call. And you know, if it's a 65% gross profit on 20 grand and your company's a certain size, it might make sense. Or that
Right.
could just be a drop in the bucket and you say, you know what, we got better things to do with our time.
It's not worth it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Always weigh and measure, weigh and measure, weigh and measure, weigh and measure. Look at the customer, right? Look how you got the job. Just keep going around it and don't get so pigeonholed on the adjuster.
Yeah, and Lindsay had a good point. It's a liability claim. A Lowe's contractor was doing work in somebody else's house, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And that somebody else called you, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so get the homeowner to raise a stink. Say, hey, this is my house. I will get the testing done, and you're going to pay for my testing.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
actually like along the lines of what Bob said to me last night, was to speak with the property owner and like have them call and make a complaint to the Department of Labor, because he knows our New York state laws out here for mold, and to call somebody else. But I told him I would talk about it tonight.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris? James, you got something to add to that? Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I mean, who signed your contract? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's the customer. If the homeowner signed the property owner signed the contract, then it's really their call, right? So they need to get involved.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you.
Hey guys,
I'm definitely one to walk away from a job, but in some cases that's not enough, because there's always someone else who's going to come in behind us and do the wrong thing. I know here in the state of Texas, we have a number through TDLR who regulates our mold that we can call for any kind of breaches. So, and if someone is adjusting and being the consultant, well, that's a conflict of interest.
It's a definite conflict for sure.
Definitely should be
That's what I
somebody
said.
should be warned.
Okay, can I interject here for a second? I'm having trouble understanding where her liability is. In New York, you can't write the scope of work. Now,
we're not talking about that kind of liability. We're not talking about workers' comp.
hang on. No, I don't mean that. I mean, if someone else has to write the protocol and she follows the protocol, but she doesn't even know what the protocol looks like yet. But let's just say there's something obvious that's just clearly missing. That's one thing, but I don't know just because the guy's an adjuster and he happens to be a licensed guy for mold, if he is, of course you should make sure that he is, but where's her liability?
There's a built-in conflict of interest to his actions, and it's significant enough in my mind to do my own homework, because the conflict of interest is he is a Lowe's employee for all intents and purposes, and his job as the adjuster is to reduce severity. And let's be real, that's why he's doing testing in the first place, because he knows he can get it done cheaper than Lori can.
That's where lies the liability, is because
I don't know.
If I do it via his protocol and his protocol is wrong, that's where the liability comes on my company.
Well, that's if
I mean, obviously we wouldn't do that.
If I was an IA and I was in that position, there's no way I would reduce. I mean, we do a ton of comp estimating in IA work, and I don't reduce anything. The job's what it is. I mean, I don't know. I think you're kind of ready to have a fight that you don't know. Listen, if it's rip out some drywall and throw a negative air machine in there, then sure, I hear you.
Okay, so I can play both sides. I can see that. So in asbestos, you've got the scenario where you can assume ACM. Right. You can just take the protocol to the nth degree, right? Whatever that protocol is, double chamber, Dawn and Doff and rinse station, whatever that protocol is, that you can apply the asbestos level 25 protocol to any job if you just assume. You assume asbestos containing materials.
Okay.
And you don't have to do testing under that scenario, right? Because you're treating it all as if. So I think if Lori goes into this thing and treats it all as if, just do your job to the best of your ability, to the best you know how to do mold, you know how to protect your people. So do mold and protect your people. I could see that. I could justify doing a job under those conditions. Yeah.
I can too. I don't think that that's where my main issue is, and I told Clark last night, and I told Bob last night that I feel like if I write my estimate the way that it's supposed to be written and not completely follow his protocol, because a lot of times I'll write an estimate and I'll put on there, you know, a line item, and then I'll put a note that says per protocol. See the protocol wherever it might be in the protocol. If it's not in his protocol, I feel like he can still come back at me and say, well, I'm not paying for that because it's not in my protocol. It's not in the protocol, because he probably wouldn't say my protocol.
That's a different problem.
But that's where the homeowner comes in. I feel like
Yes.
if they're going to be on my side or if they're going to be on his side, and then I will just walk away from the job, because I can't. We have to do it correctly, and we have to get paid for doing it correctly.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah. We got to know we got to be able to weigh those, weigh the exchange. We got to know what kind of numbers we're talking about here. So, David, you got something to add? Rodney?
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rodney's like watching his Game of Thrones reruns in the background over there.
I'm listening in, and I'm actually trying to help a young man get a new truck. He ended up in a wreck the other day, so I'm kind of like,
Oh man.
just trying to help out a local here.
All right, fair enough. Well, have we beat this horse, Lori? You think you got a direction here?
I do, and I appreciate it. I just wanted to see what you guys had to say about it, because I was flabbergasted. And Clark said in his 20 years or whatever, that's probably one of the top 10 oddest things he's ever heard.
I've never heard of that one. That's a new one for me.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's not the strangest, but it's unique. The only reason he would do it is if you know Lowe's is getting a special on mold testing, right? Or he wants to control severity. Either way, you've got to treat it as if everything's covered in mold and move forward.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Here in the state of Texas, we have a certificate that's given after every mold job. And there's actually a slot on there for an adjuster who can sign off on that.
Mm.
Now, I haven't met one brave enough to do it. I've never seen it done, but it is there, and it's in our law that allows an adjuster to sign off saying it's free and clear or there's no mold.
Wow,
yep.
Really?
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's cuckoo. That's like raising chickens and not even eating them. That's just nuts.
I eat the eggs.
Oh, right. Oh, baby killer. All right. Oh, well, it is 6:11. We got a little bit of time before the 1 hour mark. I like that. I like that topic. Did anyone see the video I posted today? I could talk about that real quick. I had a client with an invoicing problem. He invoiced an emergency service job in Xactimate using Xactimate line items, and then he decided he wanted to supplement that Xactimate invoice with labor hours, straight labor hours. So he showed me how he did it. He converted his Xactimate invoice, which was remove this much drywall, remove this insulation, remove base. I mean, it was an EMS invoice. He put by the line item in Xactimate, but he'd extracted the labor hours. And he said, okay, if I'm paying a water tech $53 an hour or whatever, but my union labor on this job was $120. And he did the math and then added up the hours and put in the supplement for like, I don't know, a 1,200 hour supplement, which was a big number. It was $90,000 added to this estimate or invoice. Sorry, I keep interchanging that. You can't do that. You can't mix square foot, linear foot, and T&M. They're two different animals, two different machines. And never the two shall meet, because you're asking and this is a Young and Associates too. So guess who's got it coming? He's just asking for that adjuster to go, man, I can't read this. I can't figure out what he did. I'm writing my own. This is what it should have cost. This is how many days you should have dried. I know exactly where it's going to. It's so they submitted $272,000 invoice. It's going to come out. It's going to be 100. I know it. Young Associates going to say, you know what? Yeah, thanks. Here's your 100. Now go away. And he may be in a position where he has to eat it because he didn't properly invoice and he didn't really document. Well, I can't say that. I don't know to what extent he documented this job. I hope to God he did a really good job, because you can always go back to T&M. You can't go the other way. You can always settle, you know what? This is complicated. I'm sorry I messed up the invoice and Xactimate. Let's just go straight T&M. Then it's labor hours and invoices. It's easy. You can always go back to it. But what I ended up doing, if we had a little more time, a little more time, what I ended up doing is showing him how to work that union labor rate into a union-specific price list and then reprice his original invoice using a new price list. And I said, that's the only way, that's your only hope. Your only hope is to say, you know what, forget this jazz I was trying to do at the end with this Fugazi supplement thing. Let's just go back to the original invoice as I presented it, and let's reprice it considering using labor, union labor. And I think he would end up right about the same number. But I don't know, who's got some questions on what I did there and why? And switching from T&M or switching from Xactimate to T&M. Has anyone done that? I've done it several times, but is anyone else?
I might need to help. Need help from you on that sometimes, Andrew. That's a good deal, man. To be able to back into an invoice number. I mean, that is like ideal. So, thank you for spreading your creativity through the universe. It's awesome.
It's on YouTube, so and you can do it there.
So was he saying? Was he creating labor line items and saying Xactimate allowed 6.2 hours, but 12 were needed? And was he doing it that way?
No, because he didn't actually add any. He didn't add man hours, right?
Okay.
He wanted to increase the labor rate by 3x.
Oh, okay.
Because he had costs. So he had to end up using union labor where he didn't anticipate that, and he didn't account for that in his original invoice using Xactimate pricing.
Okay, so he went into components and then changed the labor
I told
rate
him
there.
to go into components and do it that way. But what he did was just lump 1,500 man hours onto the end of this square foot invoice. Expected it to slide through.
He just created like a miscellaneous line item?
He did. He created
labor?
three labor line items totaling $97,000. Yes.
Like that wouldn't stick out, right?
Just real cute right at the end. Yeah, no one's going to see that one. And I don't want to give him too hard a time. I mean, we've all been there, right? We laugh at it because we've seen it and we're experienced with it. There's a lot of guys that haven't done that. So let's take a little easy on the bro.
I just has time sheets, everybody checking in and out of the job site and their names and things.
You have to, right?
Yeah, have to on something like that. Yeah, large job, that kind of pricing. Yeah, you need that. You got to prove it.
One of the takeaways, I went to Large Loss Mastery. One of the takeaways I got was how to audit proof your invoice, right? Because when you're talking large loss, you're talking potentially hundreds of millions of dollars worth of invoice. You've got to be accounting for every 15 minutes and every glove and every piece of PPE. You got to.
Do you ever submit the timesheets, or is it just for backup in case there's a problem?
No, T&M, you volunteer the timesheets.
Yeah.
T&M, you want to show them everything. It's ultimate transparency.
Everything.
Everything.
Well, here's something funny.
Yeah.
One of my guys once wrote an estimate, and he put fans, and he put the square footage of the room. He put walls and ceilings.
Oh, my. That's a lot of fans.
And I got a call directly And the guy's like, how'd the mitigation go from 3,000 to 95 grand? It was something crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. But it was, I mean, the guy didn't even realize it was the very first thing I saw. I'm like, wow, we had like 806, it was, I don't know, something like 862.
I want to know where they got the power, because you know they tried to plug them in.
I know. That's great.
You know they didn't have a big G unit there. Who saw the big G? That was a monster.
We make those
I'm
ourselves.
Gonna get one.
With these big panels, but they're cool. You can buy them like that.
Well, it's the kit. It's the.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
Generator power shake and bake hobby kit. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and those kits look way more professional than having a piece of wood with some components screwed down onto it.
Yeah.
Right? How many times? Right. I mean, how many times that rickety the panel shows up, and you can tell the Sparky's had it on his truck for about 23 years, and you're lucky if it has a cover on it, right? And the piece of wood has been scabbed onto 4 or 5 times over the years. This has been bouncing around the back of the Sparky's truck. But it sets up, and you plug into it and you get your power, but it just broadcasts crap. It does not telegraph well to owners and visitors to your job site. It trashes it out. And now you get
labor and component.
That G unit has the amps on it, and that's really a slick package, but the amperage per leg is truly the genius of that. I mean, I'm not sure why it's not been developed before, but I'm telling you, when you're on a job,
it is super sexy.
It's super
James,
sexy.
can you explain why it is important to balance your loads on something like that?
Absolutely. When you're running a generator, you can't have one leg that's super loaded more than the other. It actually will create fluctuations in the actual generator, and actually can create spikes, and it can create dips.
You can blow up a genset doing that.
Absolutely.
You can blow up the boards on your DHs and stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but being able to monitor and be able to balance your load, and he's got it so slick, so you can say, okay, well, I'm going to plug into gray or red or black.
God, it's so
that is about slick as it can be.
It's one of those products you're like, of course. Yeah.
I know. I felt like a Tonka toys up there.
Like
I was 2 years old. You know, getting them all lined out. I was like, dude, this is like, it blocks, like perfect. Like, I'm so stupid as it is. I need color coded, please.
Oh, man.
It was perfect.
I would love to see him get 2 or 3 orders this week for the big G unit. So anyone out there in Radio Land, I think the whole thing was what, 12 grand for the whole package, and that came with like 9 G units.
Yeah, 12 grand with the G units and the cabling.
Right? So you get the.
I'm on the spot, buddy. I'm gonna get all that, man.
You don't have to pick up all 3, dude. You just pick
I
up
will,
one.
dude, because I literally needed it yesterday, to be honest with you. So I had 3 large commercial jobs last week. It was 200 fans each, and I was like on each of them, and I had generators showing up, and I don't have the right cords. I don't have it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So I literally have to
steer in your life.
Yeah, please.
Did he take any equipment home? I'd be shocked if he actually packed anything on an airplane and took it home with him.
I wish I had some.
I think that one unit was actually already accounted for.
Well, that was a prototype. So
he actually made one prior, and that was just
Yeah, so the big G is 5-week lead time. But I bet if you bought that kit for 12 Gs, he would send you the G units ahead of time. So you could have, was it 12 G units? Or
9.
9. You can fit 12 on the 200 amp.
It only costs 50 cents. For the G units. That's so awesome. I had to say it. Sorry.
And you don't necessarily have to use a generator to use that unit. If you've got house power and you've got 400 amps house power, you can just tie right into the breaker box with some cam locks and use the exact same unit, and it'll run perfectly.
Dean Malstead and where'd you go? Bob Timmel were waiting outside in the waiting room there for I don't know how long. How long are you guys out there in the darkness? Can I hear you? Dean. Bob finally raised his hand, and I got a notification that Bob raised his hand.
I'm here.
There you are. Hey. Sorry I didn't get you in there.
That's okay. Used to it.
Used to it. Secondhand. So how much did you catch, Bob? How much did you catch?
I just got on the last about 10 minutes, so I don't know. What did I miss before?
Everything. We actually ran through our takeaways, our own personal takeaways from last week's summit. Do you have something to add to that conversation?
Gosh, there were so many. I mean, There was a lot. I mean, Dave Hodge, I kind of already knew because we went to classes with him before, and me and him kind of clicked on a lot of that stuff already. So, but I think that blew a lot of people right away. Oh gosh, the woman, the redhead that did the insurance. What's her name?
Jennifer Sterling.
Jennifer Sterling. Yes. Talking about having certificates of insurance for the dumpster people. That was a new one. I never even thought of that before.
And talking and talking and talking.
Yes.
Sorry, was that my outside voice?
But there's this a lot. And hopefully everybody can see what they missed, the ones that weren't there, and they can pick up some nuggets along the way as well.
Good. Yeah. Dean, get something to add? Said, he's either frozen or he's concentrating very hard. I'm going to go with frozen. Yep. No movement. Well, Dean was the first Rebel that I saw show up at the hotel. That was pretty cool. It was Hotel Boulder is a beautiful, beautiful place. I highly recommend it, even at full market rates, which we did not buy. We did not. Thank God. I think that place is like $275 a night midweek.
Yep. Listen, it's haunted, by the way. I'm not sure you knew that, but it's a haunted hotel.
Not anymore. I left. I'm not there. No, it had a great vibe. The woodworking in there was, oh man, amazing. I think it was one of the original speakeasies in Boulder, if not the first speakeasy. It's got the
License one.
All right, Dean, you're back. You're moving. It wasn't a stroke. How you doing, man?
I'm back. My audio's not working right, but I can make out everything that's going on.
All right. Well, I can hear you just fine. You got something to. What were your impressions? What made it worth it for you to come to the summit?
You know, the thing I appreciate about the group is the authenticity and the sincerity of everybody. From the presenters to everybody who was in attendance, everybody's there to help everybody out.
Yep.
That was the part that I really wanted to hit in Nashville, but I just couldn't make that trip work. And so I figured that's kind of what the flavor of it would be, and obviously that's how it turned out. And you know, we got so many people, guys and gals both, that are just so willing to help bring everybody to the next level. And it is so much of what this industry needs. Is less ego and more of we go, so that we can all get better together.
All right, I'm hashtagging it.
We go.
Love that. I love that. Less ego, more we go.
Oh, dude, it's just beautiful, dude.
I love it, man.
I had a little tear there for that. Literally, that was awesome.
That's right. Maybe we should do I think our final tally, 65 folks showed up, not including presenters and whatnot.
Less is more.
It felt intimate. It felt like if there was somebody you wanted to talk to, you could find the time to seek them out and talk to them.
Yes.
You don't get that at the big conferences. You've got to plan like the big conferences. You got to go into like 2 weeks ahead of time and like, oh, can I get 15 minutes of you on Thursday? Can I get 20 minutes? Let's do lunch. Let's do breakfast. Let's do coffee. You know, just trying to line things out to talk to all the folks you want to see. What if we did 2 a year and kept them right about 75 people apiece? East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, West Coast.
Brilliant.
I think you're going to grow past the 75 real fast, though, at each one, which is a great thing.
Well, last year we blew out 180 people last year. Yeah, but it was
Nashville. Yeah.
Hey, I think the other possibility is maybe we keep that smallness regionally, and then possibly do an annual larger session, because I think regionally, at least for some of us, maybe the regional part would make more sense if we're not traveling, coast to coast. I realize some guys are traveling coast to coast, but maybe that's another idea.
Yeah, some guys are flying from Maine through Miami to get to Denver. Kudos to those who brave weather and travel and everything else to get there. We know plenty of folks really, really wanted to make it, and they just could not find a plane. So whether Mother Nature is for us and against us.
Or they were celebrating their children's birthdays.
Or they were doing the important things, like raising chickens for the slaughter. I really appreciated the energy. I appreciate each and every one of you. A lot of you stayed on Saturday, right? Who did anyone here stay Saturday? Rodney, you were in the mastery restoration mastery with OP and Tim. How'd that go, man? Oh, you got a truck running in the background. Okay, you got a diesel revving up.
Just it'll turn off in a sec.
Are you are broadcasting live from your fallout shelter? Okay.
Well, I'm in my unfinished rec room in my nice building that I'll have finished hopefully by the end of the year. But that was my air compressor. I do a lot of work on let's just say my snowmobiles and motorcycles and drag cars and all kinds of stuff. So
I hope to have toys someday.
Yeah, well, it keeps you busy. Let's put it that way.
I hear that.
Your top is never big enough. I got 3,500 square feet here that I haven't finished yet, and I think I should have made it bigger.
Always go big. Always go big. So Restoration Mastery, last thing.
Well, Restoration Mastery, it brings you down to earth. He really gets into your, I guess you want to say, your psyche. What are the things that have affected you in life? What's brought you to that point of being where you are today? I'm sitting there at the table and we're all like digging deep into our souls, and and I'm not going to mention the names, but there was one lady at our table that, we've all grown up. We've all had issues. I think she had the deeper issues at our table, And I don't mean that.
There's a crier at every table. I mean,
but she sounds like she went through some pretty hard times, and you can't help but give her a hug afterwards, for everything
I like it.
Going through,
I like it.
And again, I'm just going to say the whole weekend, I've been part of what we always called growth groups around the country, meeting up with people. And this is another version of that. And it's uplifting. Again, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of quiet. I'll be honest, I was pretty tired too. But I'm listening, and it's so similar in so many ways about as far as what I've been part of in the past with. And some of these guys became mentors of mine that are older than me and kept me from making some of the mistakes that they've made. Again, I'm in a little country town. I'm doing all right for my area, I guess you could say. But it's just it's enlightening when you can sit there with a bunch of other people that you don't know and get to know them, and they open up to you. David there from A Molly Company. I love just the conversation we had. I mean, he's a much larger company than me, but man, we were feeling the same stresses from that certain TPA that we were talking about.
Completely. That was a great conversation.
Yeah, and I hope to speak with you in June some more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I enjoyed meeting you.
That's amazing. I think a lot of what we have comes from our experience. Yes. And I spent almost 12 years at the very beginning of my career in the same BNI group. You spend that much time in a BNI group, and those people became my mentors. Those businessmen and women really showed a young guy the ropes, because we had that trust, and we had that every week. We were communing over coffee. And Yeah. So yeah, I agree 100%, Rodney. It feels like a mastermind of sorts.
Now, this is a little off topic, but I think you all will find this kind of interesting. On my way to Denver, I'm flying out. Now, there was a gentleman early in my career starting in business that became my mentor. Wherever he was at, I was at. I was at a meeting because he was there, and I wanted to get to know this guy. He lost pretty much everything about age 50, and now he's got it back. He's another multimillionaire. Losing it. Well, in result, I've become very good friends with him. Now, the crazy thing is, for whatever reason, we haven't spoken in probably 2 months. Now, we get together periodically, go to Montana and Wyoming, go fly fishing together. I'm flying out to Denver. All of a sudden, his wife on Facebook states in there checking in and heading to Denver, Colorado. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Ends up, now he has another company for document storage and shredding and that sort of thing. They were having a conference in Aurora, Colorado. We landed at the airport at 10:30 in the morning. He come in on a different airline. We got together, was able to have lunch in Colorado.
Crazy.
I just love that.
Crazy.
We were on the phone today talking about it. We had a great time there together. We just hadn't seen each other for a while. But one of the main guys that has helped me succeed, and we were able to meet up like that.
I love it.
Little off topic, but it really made it was happy.
That's a perfect way to run it out.
The guys that were in OP's class, did you notice him when he was talking about contractor connection, not wanting him to be going to the Air Summit? Do you remember him saying that?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't hear that.
So he was getting ready to get rid of it because it's just not working, not making any profits, not making anything. And as the story went, he was in a meeting in his office, and his account manager must have came in and wanted to talk to him. And when he got done with his meeting, he already decided he was getting rid of it. So she was getting ready to leave, and before she left, he called her and said, I can't remember her name, but he said, you want to talk to me? She goes, well, actually, yeah. He goes, good. I want to talk to you too. And she says, well, go ahead. You go first.
First.
And OP says, well, we've been talking this over, and we are going to drop off your program. We just can't make this thing work. It's not within our range. And she goes, oh, okay. All right. This is what do you want to talk about? She goes, well, nothing now. I go, well, tell me what it was. She goes, well, I just can't believe that you guys are going to that Air Summit. We don't want our people involved with this. But it doesn't matter at this point because you're dropping out anyways. So do you think it shakes those TPAs up a little bit that we're all talking? I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm sure it won't be long till I'll get a phone call.
How long should I wait before I show everyone the Balfour letter? A little bit longer? Let's hold off.
What kind of teaser nonsense is that?
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was, my friend. It's called a teaser.
They call that bullshit in Texas.
I love that. That is bullshit.
We should have 4 regional summits. And I got this letter I'm not going to show you.
It's old news. It's 12 months old. It needs to age a little bit longer. So we are all in this together. I liked how Rodney kind of rolled us out there. We can be more human and more humane, and this connection between human beings is what makes it all worth it in the end.
And I'll just say, and I can't remember, there were a couple of people around me when I said, wow, what a difference from being a contractor connection where they're pounding on your freaking ass the entire time, dictating to you. And it's just, again, coming to this and having a positive energy around you. Awesome.
If you tell me I have to go, I am just on morals alone not going to have a good time.
Exactly. Every day we're in the bottom, right into the smoke.
All right, y'all. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the group.
Okay.
Bye.